Today we're going to react to Area Vibes ratings of Englewood, Florida.
And this will help give you some insight into what it's like to live in Englewood, Florida, and give you a little bit of the pros and cons, but also I think give some context to Area Vibes and some of the ratings, which aren't always, in our opinion, the most accurate. So, livability score.
70 out of 100.
Which is probably the lowest, or towards the lowest
far,
of
yes.
the cities we've done. So we've done Nokomis, Osprey, Sarasota, Venice,
South Sarasota.
South Sarasota. And amenities, they are giving it a big fat F. Disagree.
Yeah.
I could see it being not an A because it is, you know, sort of
It's
a smaller rustic beach town. But like coffee being an F. First of all, we have two of our favorite coffee places in the entire area right on Dearborn Street, right across the street.
From each other.
According to Area Vibes, if it's not Starbucks or maybe Dunkin' Donuts, sometimes they'll count that as a coffee shop. It's not a coffee shop where they don't recognize it. So there's that already.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But Joe Max and, was it Culture Coffee? Those are great coffee shops. So right off the bat, you can tell, okay, maybe some of this, if you see it and you think like, oh, I couldn't live there because there's no coffee or this or that, like, they are maybe not liars, but they don't.
I mean, you could always make coffee at home too.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason people want to go to a coffee shop completely, but yeah, I mean, I don't think they aggregate the data the best way sometimes.
Which is weird because if you look at the map here, those two coffee shops should be showing here, and the area it's included in the map, but they're just not. They're not showing.
Yeah, I wonder what a lot of these are. Like, let's click on these ones.
Bakery.
Playhouse. Yeah, so yeah, that's, you know, I mean, those are right around here, I would say. And yeah, they're not on there. Entertainment, there's only 3 places. Lemon Bay Playhouse, another part of the Playhouse. The Lemon Bay Park, see that other areas, if it's a park, they put it only under parks and not entertainment. And here they're putting that park under, and it's a great park. One of our favorite parks in the entire area, huge. As far as like amount of trails and stuff you can walk on. And on top of that, like entertainment, they're not putting anything on the beach here.
Yeah, and all the events too in the downtown area, they'll have different like arts and crafts events, or this year they had for the first year Burgers in Paradise, which that was fun to go to. There's always like music during the weekend too playing.
And right down here on Englewood Beach, like right after you come down the bridge, like there's stuff along the bridge, like you know, you can do dolphin sunset tours and fishing charters and yada yada, all that kind of stuff. But then after you get off the bridge onto Englewood Beach here, there's a lot of restaurants and stuff there that at night they'll have live music and bands, like big bands, like they're jamming out, like it's booming, like not like just like,
or like jazz or like anything relaxed. It's like, it's actually like people are actually dancing.
Yeah, like
music.
It's entertainment. So yeah, but I don't understand why they're not including the whole key, the Minnesota key, but that's a different topic, I guess. Food and drink and F. You know, I'm trying to think. We've been to enough places in Englewood that I think are really good. I don't feel like they have a huge selection because it is a smaller population, smaller city, but some of our favorite places in all the area are there.
Yes,
Texas Best Barbecue and Mango Bistro.
Yeah, there are a lot of different like smaller type restaurants too, like not big chains. Yes. But I wouldn't give it an F. I think I would give it more like a C+, B-. Like there is, I feel like for the size of Englewood, there is quite a bit of different restaurants that you could pick from.
Yeah, and it's just weird because like food and drink, they're putting like Publix liquor. It's like, what? they're like just like liquor, a discount beer and smoke, like
Taco Bell.
And yet they don't have some of the other restaurants and things like, and Taco Bell. I don't know. It's just some of like what they decide to include and then not include is really weird.
Fitness and F. There's no fitness centers in Englewood according to.
Yeah, I know for sure there's one called Bayfit, and there's a couple other more like chains and stuff like that. Can't speak as much on that if there's like a lot of places like in Venice we know there is, and they gave it an F.
The Englewood complex too, they have.
Oh yeah, the sports complex.
The sports complex. They also have like programs there that you can join and, you know, be active and like classes, like fitness type classes.
And an entire basketball gym that's indoor and free to use, like.
And outdoor too, right?
Yeah, outdoor as well, but just an indoor basketball gym that's free to use. It's limited hours that you can go in there and use it, but just the fact that exists for free is like, I've never been anywhere else where that's a thing.
No.
And
groceries enough, but there is Publix, Winn-Dixie.
and Walmart Supercenter.
There is one little grocery store that we just found in the market.
Oh, yeah. Sunflower
Market, I think.
Or something like that. It's got like discount stuff.
Discounted, and they also have like health focus.
It's
food.
interesting.
Yeah, but you have to be careful because like some of the food is about to expire, so that's why it's at a discount.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's an interesting concept. Yeah, it's like all healthy stuff that's just about expired, or some of it maybe is past its best by date, but you technically can still eat it and not hopefully die. But it's got some really good stuff, and we've been going there a lot and getting gluten-free bagels because gluten seems to be an issue for us, and so we'll just go there and buy a bunch of them because they're cheap. So that's kind of a nice thing that they have. I don't have a problem with it, I guess, being lower rated, but I still think it deserves like a D or a C minus maybe, just because you don't have a lot of options.
You don't have a lot of options, but you have quite a bit. Like you have a couple Publix, Winn-Dixie's.
You've got enough to get your grocery shopping done.
Without needing to like go to a different city.
You're not going to also get an Aldi and a Whole Foods and a Trader Joe's and you know, Walmart, neighborhood market, you know, some of the more, I don't even want to call them specialty grocery stores or uncommon ones.
There is a Walmart too, right?
Yeah. Parks and A+. Well, I'm glad they got that right because they really do have some amazing parks.
Yeah.
Big open areas, like Lemon Bay Park and Nature Preserve is incredible.
It is, yeah.
If you like nature.
And then they have the Sarasota County Library Systems. That's the Englewood complex, I think. It's just under a different name.
And the Englewood Village Park, Dearborn Street Park. Yeah, I mean, Rec Center.
Indian Mound Park.
Yeah, there's a lot of parks throughout the area. The other ones that we've been to, like Lemon Bay Park and the Englewood Sports Complex, those are great.
And the state park too by the beach.
Stump Pass.
Stump Pass, yeah.
Yep.
That one's pretty cool.
And let's continue on. And I think that's one of the upsides actually too to Englewood is like they're even more nature centric. I feel like as far as like a beach town than let's say where we live in Venice, and we do really, really well in parks. But I think Englewood's even more towards that end.
And yeah, it's also a mix of both. Like the parks have access to the water, so you can go to the park and also like launch your kayak at the same park. So that's kind of cool.
And then shops, they give it an F, which again, like if you just between Dearborn Street and there's not as much, I guess, by the Englewood beach, but Dearborn Street, there's just a ton of little shops and like when I think shops, at least, and I think that's what they should be basing it on is like these. Well, no, they got Shell convenient gas station. So
I think they mean shopping, but yeah, there is not a lot of department stores, but there is a lot of like little shops where you can go in and shop like souvenirs or more like handmade type stuff.
Yeah, they're good for that. And then they do have some of this stuff, you know, like Walmart, Dollar Tree, Bell's, you know, stuff like that. I would say, yeah, they don't have as much to pick from as, let's say, Venice or, you know, Northport. Yeah. Commute, F. Again, we've done multiple videos and check out the previous ones if you want to compare because they're pretty much all an F except for Sarasota. And it's because they're basing it purely off of public transportation, not your driving and ability to do so. I think it's worth talking about. If for most people your actual commute would be like during the winter months, especially spring break, it does get a little more congested, but during the summer months, like getting through Englewood is so easy.
It's a breeze, yeah. And commute to say to drop off the kids off of school or to go to work. Englewood doesn't have a lot of jobs other than like service related jobs, healthcare, cool type jobs.
Construction.
Yeah, so Sarasota would be like the closest city or even like Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
Maybe Fort Myers, but that's a stretch, I think. So that could get a little, you know, farther from Englewood to commute to work. But yeah, school pretty quickly to get to. And if you do work in Englewood, it's not that far of a commute.
Yeah, and I was just looking too, because Fort Myers, like on the map, you're actually almost as close as Sarasota, but you kind of have to take a weird way to get there, so it would end up being a longer drive. Because you gotta kind of go back inland. All right, let's go down to cost of living, which is an A+.
Wow.
Which I say, you know, we've said this on the channel a lot of times, if you want a beach town and you don't need a ton of amenities, or just maybe you're willing to sacrifice a few, like the value on it is a big draw, I think. You can get something kind of like Venice, definitely different vibe and things like that, but you know, some similarities there, but for way less.
Yes, you can buy in a beach town for less than if you would in Venice, but still the cost of living is showing at C for housing and goods and services, which goods and services, it's pretty similar in this area.
Yeah, And that's the weird thing with a lot of these ratings with area vibes. Like a lot of them, like they'll give like the housing an A. So then when you come back to this cost of living and that includes goods and services, it would lead you to believe that the goods and services are expensive. But in our experience, there may be a little more, but not anything notable. That it wouldn't be anything like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much clothes or groceries or whatever is, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, and this actually says it's 5% lower than Florida, the cost of living in Englewood is. So that's interesting to know as well.
Mm-hmm. And then tax, A+. That's pretty much everywhere in Florida. They seem to be giving that just because there's no state income tax. Crime, a C.
Oh, wow.
That's definitely one on the lower end outside of, I'd say, Sarasota of the cities that we've done. I think Northport was like an A and Venice was an A+.
But it also says it's lower, 3% lower than the rest of Florida, but it's a C. So I wonder, Englewood doesn't really have a lot of tourists to, make that big of a difference.
Kind of though, during the spring break months, if you call for that, and like the winter, there are a lot of people that
don't live here.
Yeah, that come down. And that's the other thing. So with the crime stats, that you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because they're basing it on 100,000 people that live here. You got a lot of snowbirds that are down here half the year or not quite half the year, so they're not considered part of that 100,000, but they are here a significant portion of the year, plus all the people that are tourists that are just here for a little while. So really kind of skews the data a little bit.
Yeah.
We found this firsthand when we moved from Wisconsin to Orlando. And you can really see the difference in areas where there's more tourism and things like that. Like the crime's way up because it skews the data a little, but also there's just more people there.
Yes.
So I personally, whenever we're in Venice, I would say it feels much better than a C, but
in Englewood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd give it like an A.
Yeah.
Maybe an A-. Employment.
D+.
That one I'm not surprised with.
No.
I would maybe give it a D, but there's not a lot of jobs there unless you're looking for something service related, maybe something involving the water and fishing charters or something like that.
And it says that the median household income is actually 1% higher than the rest of Florida.
That's crazy.
At $49,000. Yeah.
And that's probably outdated too, or
a little bit.
Yeah. So all the cities we've been doing, we've been finding the median household data and the median home price data to be.
Yeah, that's a little outdated. Mainly the house, I think.
The income, it's hard to say. And honestly, it probably hasn't changed much if it is like 2-3 years outdated. I don't know. See, that's the weird thing. I don't understand why some things they have are so outdated and other things seem like, oh, that's pretty accurate and up to date. Anyways, unemployment, 2.3%, B-. That's one of the higher ones of all the cities I think we've done, but it's still not high at 2.3%. That's still really, really low. That's probably pretty current, I think. Health, A.
Many hospitals.
But then they give a
fire stations.
D- for health and safety for the dentist, doctor, hospital.
I've heard that the Englewood Hospital is a really good hospital.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And there are some other medical facilities to sprinkle throughout the Englewood area. And the new Sarasota Memorial Hospital in the Welland Park area is also going to be pretty close. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, because Welland Park's just over here-ish. So it's not too far. And air quality, A+. That's pretty much everywhere in Florida, or at least all the cities we've done. Maybe Miami might be worse or something. I don't know. Housing, how accurate do you think that is, Mr. Realtor?
15, 20. Wow, the home price, it's showing at $215, and it's still saying that it's 29% higher than the rest of Florida, which I think that's interesting.
Well, this is definitely out of date.
Yeah.
Big time. Like, what would you say the median sale price is right now in Englewood?
Probably around $350.
Okay. And by the way, if you are looking to buy or sell a home in the Englewood area, call text or email our team, 941-221-1897. Yeah, that's 29% higher than Florida.
At $215.
At that price?
Yeah.
That tells you this data is really out of date.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine in all of Florida, I guess we've probably seen this data somewhat recently, but it's probably closer to like $350, $400 for the entire state.
Yeah, around $400.
Right now, with the sales prices of a lot of places going up, I bet you Englewood maybe be a little bit lower than the average. Would you probably around $350, maybe? You said, right? And if the state's around $400, it's so hard to imagine though, or like.
And it just depends too on where, because like Minnesota Key is going to bring that value up.
Exactly.
So it's tough to say, but yeah, I think Englewood is still more affordable than like say a beach town like in the Miami area.
Yeah. But then you've also got all the places like Ocala and more inland that kind of bring the you know,
value
the
down.
median sale price down. Home appreciation rate, A+. Not surprising there. This whole area is booming, as we said in previous videos. Home affordability, D-. No shocker there considering the median income. But just look at that 215 price is like so hard for me to mentally
like
overcome.
2019 or prior to 2019.
Yeah, extremely outdated.
Yeah.
Schools, A-. So we got a little bit of a split action going on here because they're partly in Charlotte County and partly in Sarasota County, which Sarasota County is the #1 rated county in the state right now for the school system. So Englewood's kind of, actually, if anything, it's going to be like 2/3 Charlotte County. But Lemon Bay High School is rated very, very highly. And
but again,
they're giving it an F.
Schools and high schools are an F, but then schools overall are an A-.
And their ratings, we've seen this multiple times.
Yes.
They give a high overall. These will be pretty good for the school test scores and the high school graduations rates, but the schools that are creating those high test scores are not good.
Not good, yes.
I don't know how they come to that conclusion. So that's why we say we want to do these reviews so you can understand that maybe it needs to be taken with a little bit of a grain of salt.
C- for ratings overall.
Actual user reviews give it a D. And
that's only 3 reviews.
Yeah. So. And surveys an A. Like we have often said, usually the people that are leaving the surveys we've seen to find a little bit more accurate, I guess. And the user reviews are like when people are like, don't like how the city's evolving or changing after they've been there for a while, or maybe they move from a different state and it's not quite what they thought it would be, and they want to like flame it, and they really like, you know, go in and trash it. That's usually when you get a review.
Mm-hmm. Or a lot of locals too that maybe don't like that the area it's growing so much, so now they'll leave a bad review because the area is changing so much that it's not what they're used to or what they grew up in, and also to kind of like prevent more people from coming here, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess, and some people like it, some people don't, and that's just the human nature.
Yeah, so the surveys were an A, and the livability score would be a 70 that Area Vibes is giving it, which would probably give it like a C-ish, D?
Yeah.
Maybe a B. Well, actually, can't really take it out of 100 because I don't think there's too many places on Area Vibes that have got even like much more than a 90. So yeah, I don't know, it's probably like a B. I think a B, B+. It just depends on the person and if it's the right fit for you, which the only way to know that is to know more about the area, which this video will help you know more about the pros and cons of Englewood.
And if you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Englewood area, make sure to call, text, or email our real estate team, 941-221-1897.
Call or text at any time, whether you're looking to move in the next few days or the next few months. We hear from people all the time. We love it, and we'd love to help you find your dream home.
If you want to learn more about Englewood, subscribe and turn all notifications on, and
live breezy.